My wife said, "I hope you're happy you ruined my life." I replied, "I refuse to be your victim." Then I sent the photo from 3 tables away, changed the locks, and filed for divorce. My attorney subpoenaed their texts and phone records, and that is when I read her plan in writing. Welcome back to AF Tales. Today's story is about a husband who caught his wife lying about dinner with mom while she was 3 tables away kissing someone else. As you listen, think about what you would do if you got proof that clean and that fast. She texted, "Stuck at mom's for dinner. Love you." But I was sitting 3 tables away at the same restaurant, watching her kiss someone else. I didn't make a scene. I didn't walk over. I didn't throw a glass or raise my voice. I just replied, "Enjoy dinner with your mom," and attached a photo of her table. When her phone buzzed, the drop was audible, even from where I was sitting. I'm 34. I've been with my wife for 9 years, married for 6, no kids. She always said she wasn't ready, and I respected that. Looking back, I wonder if she just liked keeping her options open. Last Thursday started normal. I work in sales for a medical equipment company, and one of my biggest clients wanted to take me to dinner to celebrate closing a major deal. He picked an upscale Italian place, cloth napkins, soft lighting, the kind of menu that makes you slow down before you order. Around 4:00 p.m., I texted my wife to let her know I'd be late. Her response came back fast. "Perfect timing. Mom called. She's feeling lonely. Going to have dinner with her tonight. Don't wait up. Love you." Nothing about it felt weird at the time. Her mom lives about 40 minutes away. My wife visits her maybe twice a month. It fit the pattern. I didn't question it. I got to the restaurant around 7:15. My client was running late, so the hostess seated me in a corner booth to wait. I was scrolling through emails when I heard a familiar laugh. My wife has this very specific laugh, high-pitched, and it ends in a little snort when something really gets her. I've heard it 1,000 times. Hearing it in that restaurant made me look up without thinking. 3 tables away, there she was, not with her mother. She was with a guy I'd never seen before. Mid-30s, gym bro vibe, wearing a blazer that looked like it wanted attention. They were sharing a bottle of wine. They looked comfortable, familiar. And then I watched her reach across the table and touch his face. Then she leaned in and kissed him. Not a quick peck, a real kiss. My brain didn't keep up for a few seconds. I just sat there frozen, watching my wife make out with someone in public while I was supposed to be too blind to notice. This is the moment most people think they would know what to do. In real life, your body reacts before your mind catches up. A waiter came by and asked if I wanted water. I must have nodded because suddenly there was a glass in front of me. My hands were shaking. I felt sick, like I might throw up right there in that booth, but I didn't move. I didn't go over. I didn't yell. Instead, I took out my phone, angled it carefully, and snapped a photo. Clear shot of both of them, her hand on his cheek, mid-kiss, timestamp and all. Then I opened our text thread and typed, "Enjoy dinner with your mom." I attached the photo and hit send. The moment her phone buzzed, I watched her pull away and check it. At first she looked casual, like she expected a normal message. Then her phone hit the table. The sound was loud enough that I heard it. She went pale, not a little startled. Pale like the blood left her face all at once. Her head snapped up, scanning the restaurant like she was looking for an exit that wasn't there. Then our eyes met. I've never seen that expression on anyone before. Pure panic, mixed with that trapped look of someone who just realized the story they've been telling has nowhere left to go. I stood up, left a $20 on the table for the water I never drank, and walked out. I didn't look back. I didn't say a word. I just left. My client called while I was in the car asking where I was. I told him something came up, a family emergency, and I'd reschedule. He was understanding. I drove around for 2 hours because I couldn't go home. I couldn't think. My phone was blowing up the entire time. Calls, texts, voicemails, all from her. I didn't answer any of them. Around 1:00 p.m., I pulled into a hotel parking lot and got a room. I turned my phone off and slept maybe 2 hours total. The next morning, I turned my phone back on to 38 missed calls and around 50 text messages. The highlights were exactly what you'd expect. It's not what it looks like. Please come home so we can talk. You're overreacting. He's just a friend from work. I can explain everything. Where are you? I'm worried sick. And then, less than 12 hours after getting caught, the blame showed up. This is your fault for never being home. That one made something click in my head. The shift from panic to blame is a big tell. It's the moment you realize they're not sorry you're hurt. They're sorry they got caught. I didn't respond. Instead, I called a buddy from college who's a divorce attorney in a different state and asked for a referral to someone local. By 9:00 a.m. Friday, I had a consultation scheduled for Monday. Friday afternoon, while she was at work, I went home. I packed a bag with essentials. I grabbed my important documents from the safe: passport, birth certificate, and the deed to the house, which is in my name from before we got married. Then I left again and stayed at my brother's place. She must have had some kind of tracking set up because she showed up at my brother's around 8:00 p.m. She was pounding on the door, crying, doing the whole performance. My brother answered because I was in the shower. "Where is he?" she demanded. "I need to talk to my husband." My brother is 2 years older than me and has zero patience for drama. He just looked at her and said, "He doesn't want to talk to you. You can't keep him from me. This is ridiculous. It was one dinner." "One dinner where you were kissing another guy while lying about being at your mom's," my brother said. "Yeah, I saw the photo. We all saw the photo." She tried to push past him. My brother played linebacker in college. He didn't move. He just stood there like a wall. "You need to leave," he told her. "He doesn't want to see you. Leave before I call the cops." She left, but not before screaming that my brother was poisoning me against her and that he never liked her anyway. Fair. He didn't. He told me 3 years ago he thought something was off about her. I didn't listen. That weekend was a blur of blocked calls and texts from her number, her mom's number, and her sister's number. I blocked them all. Monday morning, I walked into my attorney's office with the photo, a timeline of events, and a head that was finally clear. My attorney, a sharp woman who's been doing this for 20 years, looked at the photo and nodded. "Classic," she said. "They always think they're smarter than they are." Here's where it got complicated. The house is in my name, bought before the marriage with inherited money from my grandfather. In our state, that's separate property. But we renovated the kitchen 2 years ago using funds from our joint checking account. She could argue she had a claim to the increased value, maybe $20,000 to $30,000 worth of headache. My $401k accumulated during the marriage would get split. It had around $180,000 in it. So I was looking at losing around $90,000 just from that. It hurt, but I understood the law doesn't care about feelings. Her retirement account had about $45,000. I'd get half of what accumulated during marriage, so roughly $22,000 back my way. Still a net loss, but whatever. No kids meant no custody battle. Small mercies. I filed for divorce on Tuesday. She was served Wednesday at her office. According to my attorney, she made a scene and had to be escorted to a conference room by HR. Part of me felt bad about that. The other part remembered her text saying this was my fault. Wednesday night, she showed up at the house. I'd gone back Tuesday after filing, figured I might as well sleep in my own bed. I changed the locks first thing. Her key didn't work. The confusion on her face through the doorbell camera was almost surreal. She banged on the door. "Let me in. This is my home too." I opened the door but kept the chain on. "It's not," I said. "The deed is in my name. My attorney advised me to secure my property." "Your property," she snapped. "I've lived here for 6 years. You can't just lock me out." "Actually, I can," I said. "You moved out Friday when you chose to stay at your mom's instead of here. Remember the same mom you were definitely having dinner with last Thursday?" Her face went red. "That's not fair." "Neither is lying to your husband while you kiss another guy at a restaurant," I said. "But here we are. I want my stuff." "Schedule a time with my attorney," I said. "She'll arrange a supervised pickup." "Supervised?" she said. "Are you kidding me?" "You tried to force your way into my brother's house," I said. "I'm not letting you in here unsupervised." I could see the calculation start. The tears dried up fast once she realized they weren't working. "You're making a huge mistake," she said. "I'll take you for everything." "You can try," I said. I closed the door. She stood outside for another 15 minutes before leaving. The next day, her mother called. Her mother has never liked me. From day one, she thought her daughter was settling, too good for a sales guy, should have married a doctor or a lawyer, that kind of thinking. "You need to stop this foolishness right now," she said. I didn't even say hello. "This divorce nonsense," she continued. "My daughter made a mistake. You need to forgive her and move on." "A mistake is forgetting to pay a bill," I said. "Your daughter had an affair." "She told me it was one dinner," her mother snapped. "One moment of weakness because you're never home." "Even if that were true, which it's not," I said, "people don't make out with friends from work at fancy restaurants while lying about being with their mom." "You men are all the same," she said. "Can't handle a woman having her own life." "Her own life can include not being married to me," I said. "Hence the divorce." She told me I'd regret it and that her daughter was the best thing that ever happened to me. "She was kissing another man 3 tables away from me while telling me she was with you," I said. "If that's the best thing that happened to me, I need better things." She hung up. My attorney suggested I find out who the guy was in case it mattered, so I did some digging. It wasn't hard. He'd been in group photos on her social media, tagged a few times. Turns out he was married too. Married 4 years, 2 young kids. His wife didn't know, or if she didn't know the details. So I sent an anonymous email with the restaurant photo attached in one sentence. "Thought you should know, check his Thursday nights." Petty maybe, but he knew my wife was married. He didn't care. Now his wife knew too. 3 weeks later, things got messy in a way I didn't expect. His wife confronted him. He denied it. Then she found more evidence on his phone. My wife wasn't even his first time doing this. His wife filed for divorce within a week. He started blaming my wife for ruining his marriage. My wife was furious because he was supposed to leave his wife for her. That's when I learned this wasn't a random mistake or a one-time slip. They'd been seeing each other for almost 8 months. 8 months of lies. Working late. Dinner with mom. Girls' nights. All of it. My attorney subpoenaed phone records. The texts between them were illuminating and not just affair talk, financial talk. She was planning to take me for everything in the divorce, then they'd be together once she got her fair share. One text from her to him stood out. "He's so clueless. By the time I'm done, I'll have the house, half his retirement and alimony for years. Then we can finally be together for real." When my attorney showed me that, her face said it all. "Well," she said, "that makes things easier. In our state, adultery doesn't automatically change asset division, but evidence of financial plotting, of intentionally trying to exploit a spouse, gets a judge's attention." My attorney filed a motion with those texts attached, but my wife wasn't done fighting dirty. Week 2, I got a call from HR at my company. Someone filed an anonymous complaint alleging I had been aggressive and threatening toward a female colleague. Completely fabricated. I work remotely 3 days a week and barely interact with anyone in person. HR investigated, found nothing, and dismissed it. But it was stressful, and I knew exactly where it came from. A few days later, a police officer showed up at my door. My wife filed a report claiming I was stalking and harassing her. When the officer heard my side, and heard that she was the one showing up at my door, my brother's door, and my workplace parking lot, he looked skeptical. I showed him the doorbell footage of her banging on my door for 15 minutes. He took notes, said he'd follow up with her, and left. No charges. But my heart was pounding for hours afterward. This is why people say to stay calm and document everything, not because it's cold, but because false stories thrive in chaos. Week 3, she hired a new attorney. Her first one apparently wasn't aggressive enough. The new guy filed for temporary spousal support, claiming she was financially dependent on me and couldn't survive without assistance. Let me be clear. My wife makes $75,000 a year as a marketing coordinator. She has her own paid-off car. She has about $45,000 in retirement. She was living with her mother rent-free. She was not financially dependent on anyone. My attorney responded with pay stubs, account statements, and a reminder that she chose to leave the marital home. The judge denied temporary support but scheduled a hearing for permanent arrangements. Then her family started their own campaign. Her mother called everyone in my family, my mom, my brother, even my aunt who'd met her maybe twice. Same story. I was overreacting. I was vindictive. I drove her to it by being a workaholic who neglected my wife. My mom told her exactly what she could do with that narrative, in language I didn't know my mom even used. Her sister tried to get information out of my brother. He told her to lose his number. Then her dad called me. It was the first reasonable conversation I'd had with anyone from her side. "Son," he said, "I'm not calling to yell, I just want to understand what happened." So I told him everything. The restaurant, the photo, the texts, the plan to take me for everything. There was a long silence. "I didn't know about any of that," he finally said. "She told us you'd been emotionally distant and she had one dinner with a coworker that you blew out of proportion." "Does that sound like a reason for divorce?" I asked. "No," he said quietly. "No, it doesn't." Then he sighed. "I'll talk to her mother. I can't promise it'll help, but I'm sorry. I thought I raised her better than this." That hit me in a strange way. Not sympathy exactly. More like realizing he was learning who his daughter was at the same time I was. But feeling bad doesn't pay legal fees. About 3 weeks in, my wife texted me directly for the first time in a while. "Can we talk without lawyers? We're wasting so much money fighting." I didn't respond. My attorney advised no contact. That night she left a voicemail. She sounded like she'd been drinking. "You think you're so smart," she slurred. "You think you won, but you don't know everything. You don't know what I know. You're going to regret this. I have stuff, evidence of things you did. So you better think real hard about how you want this to go." My attorney listened and shrugged. "What things did you do?" she asked. "Nothing," I said. "Then it's an empty threat," she said. "Desperate people say desperate things." She was right. Later, her evidence turned out to be screenshots of normal arguments we'd had over the years. Things like me saying, "I'm exhausted, I don't want to talk right now," or "Can we discuss this later? I'm in a meeting." Her attorney tried to frame them as emotional abuse and stonewalling. The judge looked at them, looked at her attorney, and basically said, "These are normal marital disagreements. Nothing here constitutes abuse." Her attorney then pivoted to hidden assets and demanded full discovery. Fine by me. My finances are boring. Salary, $401K savings account. 3 weeks of forensic accounting later, they found exactly what I said they'd find. Nothing. Meanwhile, those texts between her and the affair partner stayed in the record. The judge read them, including the one where she called me clueless and talked about taking everything. The judge's face during that part was something I'll never forget. Here's how the final breakdown landed. The house stayed mine. The judge agreed it was separate property purchased before the marriage with inherited funds. Her attorney argued about the kitchen renovation and tried to claim she was entitled to half the increased value. The judge awarded her $12,000 for her contribution to the renovation. That was it. She wanted $150,000. She got $12,000. Retirement accounts were split down the middle for the portions accumulated during the marriage. I lost about $87,000 from my 401K. I got back about $21,000 from hers. Net loss of $66,000. It hurt. But it was the law. I accepted it. Spousal support was the big fight. Her attorney wanted $3,500 a month for 5 years. My attorney countered with her salary, her rent-free living situation, and crucially, her texts about planning to financially exploit me. The judge awarded her 18 months of rehabilitative alimony at $1,100 a month, total around $20,000. She actually gasped when the number was read. Her affair partner didn't exactly win either. His wife took him apart in his divorce because he was the higher earner and she had primary custody. He lost the house, paid significant support, and moved back in with his parents at 36. My wife was devastated because now he couldn't afford to be with her. They broke up 2 weeks before my divorce was finalized. She tried to use the breakup as proof she learned her lesson and deserved a better settlement. The judge wasn't impressed. At the final hearing, she showed up looking rough, like she hadn't slept, lost weight, tired eyes. I felt a twinge of something I can't quite name, not love, not sympathy. More like recognizing that the person I married was gone and the stranger in front of me was what was left. As we were leaving the courthouse, her attorney stepped away and mine was on the phone. She cornered me by the elevators. "Was it worth it?" she asked. "Destroying everything we built?" I looked at her, really looked, like I was trying to find the version of her I remembered. "You destroyed it," I said. "I just documented the wreckage." "I made one mistake," she said. "You planned to take everything I had while sleeping with a married man for 8 months," I said. "That's not a mistake, that's a campaign." "He manipulated me," she said. "I was vulnerable because you were never there." I said the simplest truth I had. "I was 3 tables away," I told her. "You just didn't bother to look." The elevator dinged. I got on. She didn't. "That was 2 weeks ago. I'm still in the house. It feels bigger now, quieter. I've been repainting the bedroom because I couldn't sleep in there with the old colors, something about starting fresh. Financially, I'm down about $100,000 when you factor in attorney fees and everything else. That's a big hit. But I'm 34. I make decent money. I'll recover." The alternative was staying married to someone who saw me as a bank account with legs. Her situation is less rosy. From what I've heard, she's still at her mom's. An apartment she was looking at fell through. Her credit isn't as good as she thought it was without my income backing her up. Her affair partner blocked her after his divorce finalized. She calls him a coward to anyone who will listen. Her family split. Her dad hasn't spoken to her since he saw the texts. Her mom blames me and has apparently banned my name from her house. Her sister thinks my wife made mistakes, but also thinks I should have tried harder to work it out. Work it out with someone who was planning to financially devastate me while sleeping with another man. Sure. She texted me yesterday from a new number. I guess she figured out I blocked the old one. "I hope you're happy. You ruined my life." I read it, thought about it for a minute, then blocked that number too. She ruined her own life. I just refuse to let her ruin mine. That restaurant photo is still on my phone. I probably should delete it. But sometimes I look at it as a reminder, not as revenge, as proof. Without it, she could have spun any story she wanted. With it, her narrative collapsed instantly, and it's weird to think about the waiter at that Italian place. He brought me water while my world was falling apart. For him, it was just another Thursday shift. He probably has no idea he witnessed the beginning of the end of my marriage. Funny how the biggest moments of your life can be invisible to everyone else. Now, here are the lessons I'm taking with me. Lesson 1. If someone gets defensive and calls you insecure every time you ask a fair question, don't ignore that. It's not reassurance, it's a shutdown. Lesson 2. Proof matters when someone is willing to rewrite the story. Documentation isn't petty, it's protection. Lesson 3. Don't negotiate with guilt trips. If they move from panic to blame overnight, they're managing consequences, not remorse. Lesson 4. A good lawyer is expensive, but a bad settlement is more expensive. Get professional help early. Lesson 5. Peace can cost money up front, but it saves years of stress later. So what would you have done in that booth? Would you have sent the photo right then, or stayed quiet and handled it only through court? And what's the earliest red flag you think you would have taken seriously?